Good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We're happy to have all of you on this afternoon. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Grenada once again. What can I say? This is Grenada. So we want to welcome all those who are listening online via the NDC Heartbeat feed. And also we have YouTube. And to those who are on radio via WeFM, Vibes FM, we've got Spice Capital Radio, we've got 100.5 FM out of Labby in Grenville. We've got Right Along out of Brooklyn, New York, and we have others lining up to be on the Heartbeat. So we welcome you to another episode. In studio with me today is the Honorable Ron Redhead. He is the PRO of the NDC, and he's also the Member of Parliament for St. George Northeast. We'll be chatting on a number of issues, so stay tuned. Back with you in a moment.
Hello, my name is Annie Wilby. I specialize in the middle defense events. I will be participating in this year's Plastic Writing Communal Games, May 17th and 18th at the Granny James Athletic Stadium. See you there.
My name is Leah Rose Charles, and my most recent accomplishment was winning the Victus Laborum at the next UT St. George's Branch Primary School Games. And I am participating in the Classic Lighting Community Invitational on May 17th and 18th at the Carriacou James Athletic Stadium, representing South St. George Government School. I am inviting you to come out and support greatness and action in track and field.
Hi, my name is Javon McGee. I am a sprinter. I will be taking part at Classic Lighting Community Games at the Granny James Athletic Stadium, May 17th and 18th. Please be there.
Good afternoon to everyone. The NDC St. Andrews Southeast Branch invites you to join us next Saturday, 17th May at Hope Playing Field for a fun day and grand raffle draw. It commences at 10 a.m. and up until 8 p.m. There'll be lots of fun activities in store for you, including a wind ball cricket competition. Music would be provided by DJ Fox, and there will be eats and drinks on sale. For the raffle, the cost per chance is $5. First prize, we have a 55-inch flat screen smart TV. Second, an iPhone 13 Max. Third, an Apple smartwatch. Fourth, Philips micro music system. Fifth, a food hamper. Don't be afraid to take a chance. You can contact us on 410-5068. See you next Saturday.
Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat podcast. As I said earlier on, we have in studio with us the Member of Parliament for St. George Northeast and PRO for the National Democratic Congress. He has lots to talk about today, and we'll start off with that trip to Carriacou that I saw you on.
Yes.
The opening of this fish operations out there. You need to tell us all about it.
Yeah. So it was an excellent opportunity, Terry. First off, let me say thanks for the opportunity and good morning to all the wonderful mothers, particularly in St. George Northeast and by extension the entire Carriacou.
I join with you too, and the diaspora.
Yeah, and the diaspora as well.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yes. And it was a wonderful experience. Friday afternoon, having to open this ancient dream, I call it. I could recall it days campaigning with the Honorable Tevin Andrews as just the caretaker for the NDC in Carriacou, Piti Martinique, and him talking about this immensely and, lamenting the fact that look at the state of a fishing center. Carriacou is surrounded by water more than Grenada because of its size, and not having a fish center with the standard and quality that it ought to have, notwithstanding the amount of fishermen and fisher folk. So it was a wonderful experience to see this become a reality within 3 years' time. And had it not been for Hurricane Beryl, it would have been achieved a lot faster. They were on track. And so it augurs well for the fishing community throughout Grenada. Just recently we completed a project in St. Andrew, Soubise to be exact. And again, for the fisher folk there, And we are seeing a bolstering, so to speak, of fisher folk and by extension, agricultural workers in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
Put it in a nutshell. What do you anticipate is the economic value to Carriacou and mainland Grenada, Petit Martinique, of the opening of this center?
It's going to be a wonderful one, and I think it speaks to the government's whole plan and thrust on planning. You know, the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, is keen on planning, and we can't get to where we need by just talking about it or trying to rely on a personality. I think we as a nation need to plan, and so it speaks to that. The launching and implementation of the Blue Economy Ministry is going to work hand in hand with the new fishing center in Carriacou, Petit Martinique. It is expected to serve not only Carriacou, Petit Martinique, but the entire region. In boundary with the Petit Martinicans and the kayaks as well. And so you're talking about Grenadines, even as far we think we can go and attract fishermen and fisherfolk from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because we have that neighborly spirit. And so it augurs well for the potential. The spin-off is going to be tremendous. In fact, Prime Minister in speaking spoke to the fact that this is just phase one, that we should now start talking about how do we take the simple products, the fish, and turn them into tertiary level, secondary level products, so that we can then begin to export not just the fish and buy and sell, the normal practice that would occur, but to turn the facility into something much more than state-of-the-art, a very productive facility, which will have economic benefits, not just for the fisher folk, but also people who are involved in agro-processing as well. And so this administration is keen on ensuring that we create a plan, get the buy-in for the plan, and ensure that you execute the plan in accordance with the aspirations of the people, but also what works, what makes sense.
All right. So how do you compare what was recently launched, or is there a comparative analysis that you can, draw with, let's say, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Antigua, etc.?
Right. Well, I can't right now in this moment say with any great certainty that we are the best, but in listening to some of the fisher folk and some of the workers involved in fishing or the fishing industry in Grenada, they have said that this is one of the best facilities that we have in the region, and one of the best. So it will certainly add and contribute. So we're competitive in that regard.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. And I guess there are several phases that's going to follow as the years go by.
Naturally so. I think I want to speak briefly about the process that was done, because this was fully funded by the government of Grenada. We had no, in this instance, outside assistance to be able to fund this project, and to see that it was brought into fruition, notwithstanding the difficulty with Hurricane Beryl. It delayed about 9 months. To see it was brought into fruition within a short time frame, and it speaks very well for our capacity in being able to fund and also implement and construct. So I want to commend the contractors as well, who did an excellent job in terms of the quality of that fish center. It looks absolutely amazing. So it speaks to the whole question of self-sufficiency, self-reliance.
And would you add, therefore, it's youth energy?
Of course. Yes, had it not been for Minister tasking his ministry and PS Javon Williams at the time for being able to plan and execute that, it may not have come true. So I think all the moving parts, stakeholders came together very nicely, and also the community.
Great. Well, I look forward next week having a chat with MP Tevin Andrew.
Definitely.
To get more final details and how it's actually operating, and whether if all the little bugs are out of the system and things are running smoothly.
Well, he's still on paternity leave, so I would...
Male paternity leave.
Yes. This is one of the highlights.
We shall not disturb that very special moment.
Definitely, yeah.
But he will soon have to recover.
Definitely.
Now, how does that tie in with the sargassum that we are seeing, affecting the whole region, actually? And how are we planning to manage our portion of it
Yeah,
locally.
but I think it ties in pretty okay in the sense that we're dealing with the sargassum. Government, as mentioned earlier on, launched the Blue Economy as a standalone ministry, meaning that we have permanent secretary, and you are going to, you heard the PS Javon Williams explaining the potential structure that we are looking at, and his vast experience in terms of public service and being able to set up these things and to implement. So we could find no better choice, in my humble opinion, in PS Javon Williams to help lead the administrative functions and duties of the ministry. And so building that out, we are going to be able to treat with effectively, we believe, with the issue of sargassum. And note I say effectively because I still think as a region, we are still limited in terms of our true knowledge as to what is causing the sargassum in the first place, and then potentially how to deal with it from a country to country and then regional standpoint. So I think it ties in well. We also want to say thank you to the government of Japan.
Yeah.
They made a very tangible donation. About 6 or so fishing boats came in, and it is going to help solid waste be able to fight the issue of collection with the sargassum. Again, where we sit, we are limited with the knowledge of being able to predict the track and trajectory of the sargassum, and so we often have to respond. But what we are saying is that we are going to now be able to respond in a bit more organized, structured manner to be able to see how we can treat with that problem. But it's very difficult, especially as it relates to the scent.
Yeah, maybe you may have this answer, or probably you don't. But there was a special craft donated, I believe, by the said government of Japan,
Right.
for the collection of sargassum weeds. Well, what is the status with this?
Right. Well, Minister of
Many years ago it was donated.
Yeah,
huh?
right. Well, this is what I was just going to say. The Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue Economy, he would be in the best position to respond. Yeah. But what we would say is that, at least with this administration, it is totally different. We believe that when countries give, and they give generously towards Grenada, that what they give is utilized in the best way possible. And you're going to see it utilized not 10 years from now, but now. Because we are not about trying to bribe Grenadians into voting for us just because we collect donations and gifts. But it also speaks to our foreign policy.
Right.
And if you want the best example as to why the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and other relevant ministers travel, is to bring the benefits back to the people, tangible, right? And we have cited countless examples. You can look in the agricultural sector, for example, the amount of animals, livestock that we got first time. Well, I dare say this is the first administration in modern times in Grenada to have received such a large shipment. But it speaks to our outreach. It speaks to the question of saying that we are not just interested in the aid and finances, but what we really want as well too is the knowledge, because I think that is key. And in rolling out the Blue Economy, as tying it back into the issue of sargassum, the knowledge is going to be critical, because as you know, Terry, volcanic islands have very large mineral deposits, right? In addition to all the conversation around oil and gas, you have a technical working team there. They're working overtime to ensure that Grenadians and Grenada at large could be able to get information on what is going on and see how we can harness that potential. But the important aspect is the knowledge of how do we harness that. And so we're not just interested in money and deals. That has its place. But what we believe is that you must first and foremost think about how can Grenada benefit in a sustainable fashion, not just for the now, but beyond and in the future.
Great. Now, this ties me in, therefore, to the new MNIB.
Yes.
IMEXA, that's it?
Yes.
Good. That all interlinks with agriculture, fishing, etc., etc. How is that progressing?
Well, it's progressing nicely. At our first National Town Hall meeting for 2025, the second, the government of Grenada gave an update. Again, there is a technical working team there, headed by Mr. Chris Riggs. You might know him as a playwright, like to give jokes.
He's
but,
serious.
but he has a serious component to him as well. And so he was very instrumental in speaking to the transition, and I dare say transformation of marketing board. Now, I would be very straightforward and frank. I listened recently to the opposition's, I would say, cry over the issue of farmers. First off, Terry, this administration does not deny that in 3 years, or just under 3 years, that every concern, challenge, situation in the agricultural sector is solved. We don't believe that. And therefore, we know we still have a lot of work to do. But so far, we are very proud that we are able to do several things, including ensuring that we enhance the very sector and turn it into something that is very much more productive.
Right.
And in a sense that it's already a productive sector, but the traditional farming aspect of backyard farming, we are moving beyond that and trying to ensure that we promote agro-processing, trying to ensure that for the first time, we are actually going to achieve the goal and objective marketing board was set up to achieve. So this was not to shut it down and say, well, you know, we discarded of it. And I can tell you preliminary, marketing board is now operating at standard, meaning that it's not making a loss anymore. It's not at a place where it cannot pay suppliers, all right? So that problem has been resolved. And so the transition of marketing board into MEXA is going to create with it new potentials, new opportunities now to get it right. And so that's what we've been doing. This is in no way holding back farmers from selling their produce. And I can tell you, in fact, supermarkets, hoteliers, have been purchasing direct from the farmers, and so in most cases over the years farmers found that a little easier for them, where they can have direct access to the customers, commercial customers, to be able to purchase their produce. So the issues and challenges of marketing board prior, we are confident that this technical working group has given the initial update and will continue to update the nation until MEXA Limited is fully operational. And then we will begin to see more benefits and transformation, so to speak, in that area. So I want to say to Grenadians, rest assured, do not believe the nonsense. Notwithstanding, in my humble opinion, just the need to oppose, to try to seem credible by the opposition. What they are saying is misinformation, and it is deceptive, and it is just meant to create doubt in people's mind as to the direction that we ought to go. But we know for a fact, the amount of challenges, corruption, and all these other things that existed prior, we have turned a new leaf of that institution and entity. Right. And then we are confident that Grenadians are going to contribute to its overall development.
Well, that's great. Remind us, what was the payout amount that government had to invest in clearing out the debts and paying suppliers and so forth?
I don't have the exact figure, but certainly, Terry, it was
a few million.
Yes, it's exactly. And when we talk about why we had to do things, we have often said, and the Honorable Prime Minister is on record saying this, that we never said that we were going to get rid of everything that was representative of the past. What we said is that those elements that worked, we're going to keep, and we enhance it. Those that do not work, of course, we have to change. And so this is one of those that was not working, not just for us, but the farmers as well, and one which we had to enhance. And we are confident that we have taken the right course with it. As with everything, it's not foolproof. And therefore, what we will do is to encourage more Grenadians, both home and abroad, to contribute, give a feedback, find out, and see how best we could get the best product out of this entity.
All right. Now, this new entity would have the challenge of being able to ship fresh fruit, vegetables, etc., to the United States, Canada, UK. I know this has always been a challenge because the commercial airlines, they are challenged by accepting cargo. How do we plan to fix this situation?
Right. Well, Mexa Limited has a, I would say, a scope. They're going to prepare a very direct public engagement on how they intend to fix these challenges. It's listed in the second town hall in terms of where they want it to go. And I think by all means, they have undergone an immense period of getting all the information, getting all the data, and finding means and ways to correct it. Again, the future is uncertain, Terry, but notwithstanding that, we are confident that this newly transitioned and transformed entity would be able to stem the tide and correct some of the deficiencies of the past.
All right, because I say this in the context of a significant amount of, let's say, empty containers leave Grenada, put back onto ships when they have to, of course, take back their containers. And it may require a lot of data research and so forth to figure out how can we utilize that free space going back at concessionary rates.
Definitely.
To maximize this opportunity.
Well, we need more negotiations.
Well, of course,
Yeah,
lots of
more
it.
negotiations.
It takes time.
Definitely.
Thankfully, there's AI now that can probably do that research within a short space of time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this leads into now, and okay, you're not the Minister of Tourism, but you may probably be privy to some of that information. Air transportation, how are we doing with these negotiations in the region?
Yeah. Well, I think Minister of Tourism will be best fit to comment. I was with him up in Carriacou while we were doing the grand opening of the facility. So far, the numbers are doing well. It's trending up. And I think we need to keep it like that. Maybe just one observation is that we are getting a bit more competitive. I think St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in the region, that is, St. Vincent and the Grenadines now, they recently completed their project. I think it's a sandals chain, if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected on that.
Okay.
But they now have a major hotel in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Vincent and the Grenadines as an economy, which is just to the north of us, our neighbor, is growing pretty well.
Yeah.
And is doing well now, particularly in the tourism industry. And so we are confident that our numbers should remain firm. One of the things we want to focus on locally now is community tourism. And so, you know, the old saying, tourism is everybody's business. It's no longer just going to be lip service. But we want to give some structures and practicality to it. And so you have seen, for example, an entertainment center in Vendome. The concept and idea is that these private-public partnership sort of investment is going to be helpful to the community and is going to form part of our tourism products. When people visit, they can go to these areas and, you know, get comfort, security, that sort of thing. And so the idea is about partnering with our citizens locally to be able to do what we need to do in the tourism sector. But as I said, Minister would certainly like to give an update.
Yep, absolutely, sure indeed. And well, this segues us into St. George Northeast.
Yes.
How are things going there, and what are the new updates?
Well, things are going well. Yesterday, in fact, we had a very excellent joint meet and greet. Honorable Prime Minister and myself were there meeting the people of Mardi Gras, top Mardi Gras. In fact, I just want to quote from one of the residents who said that this is the first time in this area, that area which we went, that any politician, much less two, would come and spend the time and dialogue. Normally, they would just pass through, you know, talk, blah, blah, and so on, but spending time with people, getting to understand their challenges, and in a sense, fellowship and swallowship, right? Because they were food.
Quality time.
Yes, quality time, right? So they really appreciated that. And it augurs well. In fact, when we were leaving yesterday, Busman just completed his route. He came up and he said, well, all you're done already, man. I just reached after 10. And And so the event itself was carded to be completed at 9. So it went well. Prime Minister had to leave to attend another function. But by and large, it was very receptive and speaks to our style, which is that we want to maintain contact with our communities, not just for election purposes, but in a genuine way, genuine fashion. Many of us have been doing that. And so even in Northeast, look, I could recall the very week after the election, I was in Boca, and we had a little cook there and so on. We did walk through and so on. So it shows really that it's not about win the seat and govern in the seat. Win the seat and engage the constituency. Win the seat and engage the community so that we can move things forward, not just me or the community on their separate path, but together.
And your expression is obviously in sync with what other representatives are doing.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And we have seen a tremendous uptick in many areas. So I can speak, for example, with St. Patrick. I've seen a vast improvement. I can speak also even in St. Andrew. The amount of construction work that is now taking place. You can talk about constituencies like St. Andrew, Northeast, even Southwest. Things are being completed. People are focused. The truth is, Terry, we're not going to fix everything in 5 years. And so when we started this journey in 2021, in terms of the new leadership under Honorable Prime Minister, it was not about coming to promise just to get the vote so that we could go in there, sit down and lavish of the state. But it was to ensure that we said to people that we are going to set out on a long-term ambition with you.
Right.
This is not going to be easy because we will meet difficulties. I can't predict what challenges may come in 2026 or 2027. However, we must be prepared for them. And how we do so is by working together to have a plan. And so, by and large, it is about all of us, all 15 constituencies, ensuring that we do what we have to do. And just something to speak about, because you hear it every day, and I get a lot of concerns about it, which is the constituency allowance. In Jamaica, Trinidad, I'm not certain if Barbados has it, but there is, well, I know Dominica seem to have something like that. There is a fund where a member of parliament, once elected, can be able to function and to do something for his or her constituents.
Right.
And that is important because it speaks to your own ability when you get elected to serve.
Yeah.
The thing is, one cannot say that the opposition should not get and only the government should get. I think that is a different view. But I also think that the point is important to make, that to whom much is given, much is expected. And so when the opposition is now under this administration, the NDC administration is receiving a constituency allowance to do something officially, not hidden in some kind of ministry under some kind of vote and saying it's for that, and they're just taking it as a, war chest. But to ensure from an institutional standpoint, we now have a figure monthly. The constituents know that they can be able to get help. There are certain stipulations and requirements,
Right.
but by and large, it is to give to people whenever they are in need. And note, I said give to people when they are in need.
Yeah.
Because in some instances, let's face it and let's be honest, some people tend to abuse the handout mentality. And so we have to always manage that. But by and large, the goal is to empower representatives so that they can serve their community. We're not just coming here to make TV in Parliament and then go home, collect monies, and then say, well, the government didn't do this, the government didn't do that. The question is, you got elected, what are you doing, opposition or government? And so that's what we've been doing. And we have dedicated our time to serve all of our constituents every single week. All MPs are some way, shape, or form in their constituencies, in the communities, solving problems and meeting challenges.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, very soon we'll be opening up the lines.
Right.
And, so people can have an opportunity to make comments or ask questions. Before we do, we want to show some some photos of the arrival yesterday
Right.
from New York
Right.
of two of our stalwart athletes,
Okay.
Enil Sambernard and Akinde Redhead.
Right. I know them.
Matter of fact, they're right here. And Senator, the Honorable Seville Francis was there, your humble servant as the diaspora ambassador. And you have Enil and Akinde at the end. Any relationship to you, Redhead?
Well, you know, they say all redheads are related. So.
All redheads are related. So the minister responsible for youth and sport, the Honorable Delma Thomas, she was insistent that athletes coming in from abroad, Grenadian athletes, get the recognition that they deserve at the highest level. So they were taken to the VIP room. They were given all the courtesies extended. His mother and sister, they arrived a little bit late, so they were met on the outside, and there was a short, getting together, etc., short mini press conference, and it was really a special moment for them. They thoroughly appreciated that.
Excellent.
And Senator Seville Francis, as usual, she was at her best in representing the athletes, the youth.
Yeah, and it speaks to the whole trust that we have in terms of ensuring that we do not only see sports as a simple competition around the sports season, but beyond that.
Yeah.
You know, I spoke to the whole concept or question maybe a few programs back about sports tourism, just to link it to the conversation around tourism. And it is something that we have to constantly plan for. In fact, I was in Carriacou and I got to visit the ongoing project of the new tennis court. That is going to have regional implications in a positive way, because it means we are now going to be able to accept regional tournaments. And this is something that is not available on mainland Grenada. But to have it available in Carriacou is going to improve their tourism stock, which means, Terry, something I want to discuss. In visiting Carriacou, while you have seen improvements from the passage of Hurricane Beryl, I think where we are lagging now, and when I say we, the economy there, is about the private sector investment in terms of getting commercial entities back up and running. And that has a lot to do to speak with funding. I think Co-op Bank must be commended. I saw them putting out an ad for commercial funding specific to building the resilience of buildings and homes. And I think that is going to augur well, because we are in hurricane season already, and we need to ensure that when we build back better, as the minister would always say, and that we do so in partnership. This is not to say that the private sector must do their own thing and the government does its own thing, but we must work together to build out that resilience so that the economy could benefit. But certainly it augurs well for the future in terms of sports in Grenada. And I think the implementation of the sports policy, and we now have the National Sports Council functioning. It is going to revolutionize, in my humble opinion, things as to where we need it to be. And this is where you need now the private sector to come on board and to sponsor not just athletics, but teams, clubs, organizations, to really take us to the next level.
Absolutely, so indeed. So in the case of these two young athletes who came in, Enil Sambernard and Akinde Redhead, they're here to participate in a basketball development camp, which is put on by the Kellen Batiste Foundation.
Excellent.
And Kyron Batiste was at the airport along with his executive director, Heather Diali, and they're excited about, really providing services to our international athletes outside. And they also assist with respect to identifying young athletes in the making. I know he had a meeting late last week with the minister responsible for youth and sport, and there's a good partnership and relationship developing there that will bring, these athletes and sports to a much higher level and so forth. But of course, you led the foundation.
Yeah, correct. Well, it's not just about me. I think the government led the foundation.
Well,
I think
you represented at the time.
Yes. I think it's important because, oftentimes people tend to look at the narrow window as to where we need to take sports to be. Now, the Sports Council and the sports policy didn't just come about. In fact, the previous NDC administration was instrumental in laying the foundation for it. What we did when we came into office in 22 was to review it and also do a rounds of consultations once again. And so what that was able to do was to refine the foundations and points that we had in it, and to ensure that in that refining moment that we would then now pull out the best and implement, which we did, and we were happy to do so. One of the things that was very important was the incentive package for our athletes. No longer would athletes have to feel that they go out on the big stage and represent Grenada and can't get that compensation. And I think I must commend the private sector who joined in compensating our athletes, taken some of them under their wing, so to speak, and is providing support, tremendous support towards their own development. Because it's not enough, Terry, to sit on the television and root for the athlete. We have to demonstrate that we are supportive. And in doing so, we must do so not only with the compliments, but in kind and cash as well. So I think it's something important, and they must continue to support and work together for the benefit of all. And it speaks to a bigger challenge: facilities. This administration must be commended, and I will tell you why. Now, the National Stadium, you see, it's almost completed. I think just about a few more months again to go until everything is completed. And that's the National Cricket Stadium. When we got into office, this project essentially was on the books to be implemented. It was announced prior. Again, always announcing these things, former administration like to just talk it, but not doing it.
Walk the walk.
Yeah, sometimes, and that was a holdback for us. And so we have led in the renovation work to be done. And it is also going to pave the way, not just for this facility and have the athletic facility, but there is now the aquatic center that is expected to be constructed at that area. And what this will do is that we will now have a multifunctional space. Athletics, football, cricket, other sport, because we need to now be able to diversify. We have to start thinking about playing golf. We have the golf course, Long Granance, of course, and we have to start doing things like archery. We have the space now for it, and of course, swimming when this is completed. So the potential is going to be great. I think what we need to do as a nation is to continue to plan. Continue to plan so that we can effectively execute.
Absolutely so indeed. Well, on this note, we'll take a short break. We will be putting up the number on the screen very shortly, and I will announce it to you folks out there who are interested in making a comment or asking a question or asking for clarification on any matter whatsoever. So, back with you in a moment.
Let's play it cool with the classic lighting solar AC. The only let's play it cool with yeah, the heat is on, the heat is on, but there is a hope. You can take the heat out of your daily lives by investing in a classic lighting solar AC today. All you hear that? Do you know what a BTU is? British Thermal Unit, measuring the amount of water needed to raise the temperature of 1 pound of water by 1 degree Fahrenheit. So, brethrens and sistrings, whether you're roasting in your office or sweating in your jupa, the classic lighting solar AC is here to help cool things down. So don't be a fool, let's play it cool with the classic lighting solar AC, the only system you don't have to pay to use after you've purchased it. Remember, the heat is coming! The heat is coming!
NDC NDC St. George Northeast presents Brilliant Colors Night Cruise. Brilliant Colors Night Cruise. Aboard the Rum Runner 2 on Saturday the 24th of May. Music by DJ Danny and Killer Sounds Sound System.
Tell them it's master, master. I quit till my last.
Tickets is only $75. Food inclusive. Boarding time 7 p.m. so you can't be late. Just pure vibes and a solid bar awaits you. For more information, contact 407-3238 or 405-9710. The NDC St. George Northeast Brilliant Colors Night Cruise. You can't miss it.
Good afternoon to everyone. The NDC St. Andrews Southeast Branch invites you to join us next Saturday, 17th May, at Hope Plainfield for a fun day and grand raffle draw. It commences at 10 a.m. and up until 8 p.m. There'll be lots of fun activities in store for you, including a wind ball cricket competition. Music would be provided by DJ Fox, and there will be eats and drinks on sale. For the raffle, the cost per chance is $5. First prize, we have a 55-inch flat screen smart TV. Second, an iPhone 13 Max. Third, an Apple smartwatch. Fourth, Philips micro music system. Fifth, a food hamper. Don't be afraid to take a chance. You can contact us on 410-5068. See you next Saturday.
Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat podcast for today is Sunday, Mother's Day. And we're going to be opening up the lines, and the number is 423-3104, 423-3104. And you fathers out there, feel free calling in and to wish, your mothers happy Mother's Day. And of course, you are invited to make any comments or ask questions if you so wish. We have in studio the Honorable Ron Redhead, Member of Parliament for St. George Northeast and PRO for the National Democratic Congress. So he spoke on a number of areas, so feel free. He is capable and able to respond. Yeah. And if he doesn't have the answer, you tell him you don't have it, you'll come back. So this is your opportunity to call in 423-3104. While we're waiting on calls, tell me, the meeting that Prime Minister held with you in Mardi Gras, I often wonder where he gets the energy from meeting to meeting. You might have that secret. I don't know.
I don't think nobody has it. No, but Prime Minister leads by example, and he does his work. I think, and I must say this here, it's our party program. PM embodies a spirit of stick-to-itiveness and get the job done. And when he came in, what drew me was his ability.
Stick up in a little bit. Stick up in is a very important point. But we have a caller online. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Pleasant afternoon to you, Brother Terry and Comrade Ron.
Thank you.
Afternoon.
How you guys doing?
Not too bad, not too bad, the Senator.
well.
How you do?
All right. Not too bad, not too bad. So I just want to wish the entire Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and the rest of the diaspora who's listening, all the mothers, a happy Mother's Day. In particularly those from St. Mark constituency. This is Senator Britton speaking. My mom, I'd just like to wish her the very, very best on this day. I know she'll be enjoying her time today, and we'll make it special for her. So from my family to yours, wish you the very best and continue the good works. One love.
Thank you very much, Senator Quince Britton, out of St. Mark, Sunset City. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so
Minister,
and
you
maybe
were
I
saying.
should join with Senator Britton too to wish my mom,
Yes,
my
of course.
girlfriend, my sister, my aunt, all of my cousins, too numerous to mention. Happy Mother's Day directly, notwithstanding that we've done so earlier on. But I was making the point about Prime Minister's stamina. I mean, he knows it best, but he is really, really a hard worker. And I think what drew many of us to ensure that we supported him fully was his ability to do the work. He didn't come in and talk, and he didn't come in and try to pretend anything. He said, this is his situation, and this is his plan, this is his goal, and he worked towards it. And so he has 150% support in all the endeavors, whatever he's doing, to build Grenada and the National Democratic Congress.
Yeah, and it's moving forward with speed.
Yes.
We have another caller online. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
Not too bad.
Excellent.
Afternoon.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. I'm just reminding Mr. Redhead. I noticed that he'll be visiting Tempe, but I haven't mentioned anything about it. I'm needing to mention that publicly.
Right, yes.
On
Thursday, yes.
To remind people.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
So enjoy your Mother's Day.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, well, so in addition, we were speaking about the constituency as well,
Yes.
Terry. So one of the things we have begun is to move our constituency office days in a more outdoor setting and environment. And then we're going to end with a meeting where we update the community on progress of work and what is the situation with various things, how they can access government assistance and who qualifies. So on Thursday at the Tempe playing field at 4 p.m., we are going to host our constituency day. Of course, the morning segment, I would be in various parts of the constituency doing walkthroughs. We're going to be preparing scopes and so on for construction projects. We're dealing with flood mitigation. We are also ongoing with the trimming of the overhangings in preparation for the upcoming hurricane season. And so we are going to be hosting our constituency day there, our constituency day there. And the expectation is that we're going to meet people from Tempe who are just coming from work. It's going to go up to about 6:30. And so we're going to end, as I said, with a brief discussion and probably have the community, give their 2 pence on what they want to see and how they see things progressing.
Great, fantastic. Well, I guess probably from that meeting you'll announce where the next session will be.
Of course. All right, we haven't decided as yet. I think on Tuesday we will decide, and more than likely we'll take it up to the St. Paul's area because it borders both with Southeast and St. George Northeast.
Right, fantastic. Okay, well, the line is open, 423-3104, in case you're interested in posing a question or making a comment to MP Ron Redhead, or any other matter that you so wish to raise at this point in time.
Right.
While we continue on the politics, there has been one or two comments being advanced about, I think you touched on it earlier on, with respect to agriculture and the need and the concerns, etc. But let us place on record, agriculture has had over the past several years the lowest budget
support,
which indicated the lack of interest in agriculture.
That's true.
And I mean, now there is a significant increase, but there's a caller online. Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just want to really congratulate the Prime Minister and his team for an excellent work doing, and I think the PR is doing a very good work. But I just want to make a little lobby on the people living really in Montparnasse. I know the representative is very busy because I know he is a worker and he's doing what he's supposed to do and was called to do. But there is a drain just before you get to Rady Avenue, and the weather is approaching. So I really wish if something in the temporary can be done, intermediate something temporary while we wait on the larger things to complete a drain, because I know when the weather starts, what it can be for the community. as we have experienced some of that in the latter part of last year when we had that set of heavy rain. So I'm just encouraging and urging, but I want to tell the MP for that area, keep up the good work. But remember, Rady is just a very small community, and the people are very satisfying. So we know the people who will call and complain. So I just want to give them a reminder. I know we're on the list, but I'm just concerned as the weather is approaching, and I want to say to he and this other team, to the members and Ron and to the other members, you're doing a real good job. Keep up the good work, and we'll continue to keep you in prayers. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have another caller online. Good afternoon. Okay, I think we may have lost that one. You can try again, but this is really a caller that is highly diplomatic.
Well, the truth is, and really is indeed a small community. We were there only, might have been last month, completing. So we did complete some scopes for them, and there are several. A road was done under the past administration, which really has caused a lot of problems, is now breaking, and so we need to get that rectified. So we're working towards that, and we will be up there.
Great. We have a caller online. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Excellent.
Good afternoon. I know that voice.
I find I know that voice, you know.
Mr. Fox, good afternoon to you, sir. So I would like to first send out Mother's Day greetings to my mom, Evangeline Bartholomew of Windsor Forest. Wish her a blessed day. She's still in church. And to all my siblings, June Mitchell and Madagra, Michelle and Don Bartholomew, to all my neighbors and all the constituents of St. David. I also would like to announce the financial fair. There would be a financial clinic at the current community center, organized by MP and Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell for the constituents of St. David. We're inviting everybody else as well, but especially the constituents of St. David on Thursday, 15, that is this Thursday, from 9 a.m. at the current community center. Come out and hear presentations from the various financial institutions and be informed. So we want to call out the persons, please come out and attend that financial fair that is organized by MP and Prime Minister for St. David.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed.
I heard about that.
PRO?
Yeah. So as I saw the flyer, again, excellent. Empowering communities. That's the way to go.
Fantastic. Yep. And the idea that financial institutions will be there to sell their products essentially to the community is, it's very innovative.
Yeah.
Very innovative indeed.
I think Minister Williams as well has a change in terms of his schedule, and he's going out now in the communities. He was there in month 2, I believe, and should be scheduled to go somewhere else. I don't know if it's Cafe, but somebody from South, if time permits, could call and give us the information.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, the South is huge, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
St. David's is huge. You could use that term.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So it's 423-3104. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers of Grenada, which includes Carriacou, Pity, Martinique, and those in the diaspora. Hope you're having a great day. Right. So coming back to the point that you were making when we were interrupted a little bit.
So as it relates to drainage and so on, this is why we were keen, Brother Terry. The question of doing projects in your community must not be hinged on who is your supporters and that kind of thing all the time. Because you see, development needs no color. Otherwise, it's going to be skewed, and when you think you're developing, you're actually causing problems and making things worse. So what we have been able to properly implement is what is called a flood mitigation program for our drain projects.
Okay, just a moment. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Heartbeat.
Ron, good afternoon, and how are you?
Good afternoon. Since My mind ran on you, you know. I say if somebody from the south could call just to clear up and
What you know, you know the South man is not in the island.
Yes, I know that. I know that. So that's why.
Well, you know, sharp, so.
I know that.
A bad like Bobo, you know. And I don't care who vexed, you know.
Don't worry,
but
we'll
Ron,
vex, man. Yes.
But Ron, I must say, what I like about you always give me due respect.
Yes, yes, I do.
You always acknowledge that I'm a foundation member of the NDC, and you always acknowledge me for my contribution, and I really, really appreciate that.
No problem.
But you know, your father did a lot to build this party too, you know.
I know that.
Huh?
Yes, I know that. I'm aware.
And let me tell you, Ron, you and Kareem James, you all build this party. Also, people don't realize, because they always saying that how it's young people and they just come, but people don't realize that you and Kareem, I think your Nazim was appointed as the senator, and you all have did a lot of significant work to build this party too. So let me tell you, don't let nobody cut no style and make all you feel that all you just come. All you just come. All you was there and all you build the party, and a lot of people who did today stand on your shoulders, including Deacon Mitchell, and I have no apologies for that. Stand on your shoulders because you have been there, and I want to thank you again for acknowledging the work, because I have been around since George Burton days in 1987. Yeah, I'm a foundation member. I remember everything from day one, Maureen, Emmanuel, etc. But we that built that constituency in the town of St. George, there was nothing, and 7 of us built it. So I want to thank you for acknowledging me, and I want to say to all the people there that, including you, those that come, stand on our shoulders. Oh yes, we stand proudly. It wasn't for us, because it wasn't easy in them days, Ron, as you know. It was rough, because that party was bankrupt. We had to go from pillar to post, catch we royal to build a party. I had to go to Richard. You see that guy named Richard Duncan? People think he just come, but Richard Duncan was always an NDC person. I used to go in the bank all the time when we have functions, and Richard Duncan used to say, "How is the Congress going?" Always, and he used to buy tickets to help us to pay our salaries and keep the party floating. These are things that people don't know, and I don't care who vex. I have to talk about it. They stand on our shoulders, including you and Kareem James, that you all just come. So I want to thank you very much for acknowledging me all and always paying respect to me. But you know, my mouth is easy.
I know that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed, and look forward to your contribution next week. Thank you. We have another caller online. Good afternoon. Welcome. We seem to have missed that caller there. Well, we're almost getting to the 1 o'clock hour.
Yes.
And is there anything else that you wish to share on that you did not touch on?
Well, no, I think as a team NDC, we continue to serve. We continue to work extremely hard. And we need to do the things that we have to do.
No, the final caller. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Heartbeat.
Good evening. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers. And I just want to make a comment on the 10 people in the field. I think the field needs to be up. I think the 10 people in the field, yes, they can be right. The 10 people in the field, I think we really need to upgrade that 10 people in field to make it a mini stadium, because it's in the heart of the community, and I think we could do much better. There's a lot of land at the back. The vending in front of the playing field is not pleasing. It creates a lot of traffic jams. So I think we could do more. Put in some bleachers, some vendor stalls, make the field more interesting.
Well, you have a town and country planner giving you solid information.
So what I would say in the interest of time, caller, please turn out on Thursday because you're going to be able to hear updates what we have done so far. We have already reviewed the original proposal under the former NDC administration to upgrade Tempe into a multi-complex facility. And I was just speaking with potential funders for the project up until previous week and sometime this week. So we're looking at potentially ensuring that when we do start work, it's going to be a very progressive work that is going to happen for Tempe. It's also in line, I would say, Terry, with my vision for Tempe. Tempe is expected to be truly the economic and industrial hub of St. George Northeast. We have a lot to talk about, and that's why we chose Tempe as the first area to start our outreach to public and to tell people what we are about. We're not just about, doors, windows, sheet of ply. It's more than that, much more than that as a member of parliament.
Great. Well, thank you so very much for being part of the Heartbeat today.
Definitely.
And I'll give you 30 seconds for your last final closing comment.
So I was just saying, as NDC team, we remain rooted in our ability to serve. We work hand in hand, even though we may not always agree on every single item. But you know what I love about this team? There is no bad blood. And so the spirit of ensuring that we continue to serve and work together to serve is there. And if it's one thing, I am very confident that we are going to break this curse of being known as this, and I put up my one finger. So I wouldn't say it, but we're going to break this curse because we are working hard and we believe in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for being part of the Heartbeat today. And let me thank all the callers who called and made contributions. And look forward to seeing you again next Sunday when we have another equally interesting and stimulating program to share with you. So, pleasant good afternoon and see you next week. Have a great Sunday afternoon. Goodbye.